On Dave, Kids Tell Jokes, Tracy Ullman and B.B. King. But first, your local news.
Next on the NightBEAT prayers tonight for a little boy from New Britain. The 2-year-old is fighting to survive after somehow catching on fire at his home this morning. And fire tonight in New Haven as a house goes up in flames, and celebrating Three Kings Day on the Feast of the Epiphany.
Live from WFSB, this is Eyewitness News NightBEAT.
Good evening. Denise is off. We have late information out of Groton tonight. Police were on the scene somewhere along Route 215 in the woods where a body was discovered this afternoon. Canine units were brought to the scene and police will release little information on the case right now, but sources tell us the body is believed to be that of a woman from the town of Groton who had been missing for a week. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow.
And about face tonight by toy maker Mattel. The company is now taking its Cabbage Patch Snack Time doll off the market and is offering refunds to consumers who bought one. This in response to literally about 100 reports of children getting their hair and fingers caught in the mouths of the dolls. Channel 3's Tracy Martinez is now live at the Meriden Square Shopping Center with the story. Tracy?
Al, Mattel, the doll manufacturer, says they have tested the dolls and that they pose no safety threats, but still they are pulling all of the dolls from all store shelves. And they said that anybody that wants their money back can get $40 if they just send the dolls in. Now, this is in response to reports nationwide that children were getting their hair and their fingers caught in the mouth of the Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid doll. About 50,000 of the dolls were sold nationwide since the fall of 1996. In Connecticut, emergency workers were called to the home of 7-year-old Amanda Gomez. They had to cut her hair loose from the doll after the doll began eating it. This was one of about 35 incidents reported across the country. Now, if you would like to return your Snack Time Cabbage Patch Kid, send the doll to the Mattel Distribution Center at 14310 Ramona Avenue in Chino, California, 91710. Or for more information, you can call Mattel during business hours only. Their phone number is 800-335-1700. Now, you don't have to send the doll in. This is only voluntarily. And if you do decide to send the doll in, make sure you send your name and your address also so that Mattel can send you a check back. Reporting live in Meriden, I'm Tracy Martinez. Al?
All right, maybe that's the end of that story. Thanks, Tracy.
Let's hope so.
Fire crews are putting out a blaze at a home in New Haven right now. The flames broke out about 8:30 this evening at the corner of Scranton and Greenwood, a home there. The house was fully involved at one point but is under control at this hour. We are told the home was vacant.
The next 12 hours will be critical for a toddler critically burned in a fire today inside his family's apartment on North Street in New Britain. His parents were burned too, trying to save him. Channel 3's Chris Pettlety has been following the story. She joins us now from the newsroom with an update. Chris, I understand the boy's mother was treated and released from the hospital. How are the boy and his father doing?
Well, family members tell us that 27-year-old Marta Janelle is keeping vigil tonight at Yale New Haven Hospital, where 2-year-old Stephen Lopez was rushed this morning. Now the wait continues.
A steady stream of family members and friends go into and out of Marta Janelle's apartment. Neighbors bringing food and prayers for this family struck by tragedy. Marta woke up to the sounds of her screaming child on fire in the kitchen of this 2-story apartment. Wilhelmina Brown called 911 after the toddler's mother came screaming outside the apartment.
Honestly, I thought she had a rag in her hand.
You're not dressed. You can't come outside.
And then when I saw it was a baby, the baby was burnt so bad.
2-year-old Stephen is fighting for life at Yale New Haven Hospital. Burns reportedly covered 90% of his body.
Waiting. We were all worried about it, but what can we do? We gotta wait.
Ernesto Janelle is Marta's brother. He lives next door, and the family is sitting by the phone waiting for word on Stephen's condition.
I took clothes for the baby.
Virginia Navarez says she feels the family's pain. She has 3 children of her own, and she's known the family for 6 years.
It's a baby we're talking about. It's not, grown-ups could fight more for the life than kids, and it's sad. Just very sad.
Investigators say at first they thought a kerosene heater may have been involved in this fire, but now New Britain Fire Chief Henry Bernacki says investigators are looking into the possibility that this fire was started by someone playing with matches. But it could take another week before an official cause of this fire is known. At this point, family members say they're just trying to get through the next 12 hours.
Now, Stephen tonight is listed in critical condition. Stephen's father, 25-year-old Luis Lopez, is listed in good condition tonight after burning his hand trying to put out the fire on his child. Police are also involved in the investigation. Even though it may not have caused the fire, the kerosene heater, which was in the apartment, is illegal within city limits in New Britain. We're live in the newsroom. Chris Peddlety, Channel 3. Back to you, Al.
I'm sure we'll add the prayers of all the people watching this story tonight that little boy recovers fully. Thanks, Chris.
Governor John Rowland will open the 1997 legislative session on Wednesday with his State of the State address. He's expected to focus on his first 2 years in office and offer a broad look at his agenda for the next year. Rowland says he'll ask for cooperation from lawmakers, especially since Republicans no longer control the House and Senate. And you can watch the governor's full address live on Wednesday beginning at noon right here on Channel 3.
Did you know today was Three Kings Day? That's a tradition celebrated by Hispanic families. It marks the visit of the three wise men to the baby Jesus. And in New Haven, hundreds arrived at a McDonald's restaurant to receive free gifts and watch the classic Three Kings play. In fact, New Haven Mayor John DeStefano portrayed one of the kings.
It's a way of saying thank you to our community. It's a way of giving back to the community, but also it's a way of maintaining our tradition.
Mr. Rodriguez there has been paying for this celebration at the McDonald's for the past 9 years. All the children get gifts. They have a lot of fun.
And other stories topping news around Connecticut tonight. We now know where the $10.3 million Powerball ticket was sold. And if you bought your ticket in Danbury, you better check your numbers closely. Here they are once again: 1, 12, 16, 25, and 29. And the Powerball is 43. And so far, the winner has not stepped forward. Volunteers looking for a missing Learjet and 2 Connecticut pilots are turning to the internet now. A web page has been set up to give out the latest search information, including maps, to solicit comments for help. The plane disappeared on Christmas Eve morning after aborting its landing at the Lebanon, New Hampshire airport. David Letterman's lawyer says a lawsuit filed in Connecticut against the talk show host should be dismissed. A New York City woman claims the talk show host violated her privacy by repeatedly showing film of her. The woman was caught on tape eating a peach with the juice running down her chin at the 1995 U.S. Open tennis tournament. Letterman's lawyer says Connecticut courts do not have jurisdiction in the case.
It's costing a lot of money to shut down that Connecticut Yankee nuclear power plant. How much of that will consumers have to pay through higher electricity bills? Well, state officials want it to be no more than absolutely necessary, and they in fact have asked a federal agency in charge tonight to make sure that ratepayers don't pay for any shutdown costs that are attributed to company mismanagement.
After a pretty mild weekend, there was a bit more of a chill in the air today, and will it be even colder tomorrow? Hilton joins us from the Channel 3 New England Weather Service. Hi, Hilton.
Hey, Mika. You know, that cold air pushing in today touched off some lake-effect snow flurries in parts of New England, including western Massachusetts. But they've pretty well disappeared now. So for the rest of the night, clear to partly cloudy. Temperatures in the 20s. When you wake up in the morning, partly cloudy skies, mid-20s. We'll let you know what the rest of the week looks like, including a detailed forecast for the next 2 days coming up in a few minutes. Folks?
Also making news across America tonight, old Blue Eyes is back in the hospital. Entertainer Frank Sinatra taken to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center in Los Angeles early today for an undisclosed reason, but a spokesman says it is not life-threatening and he should be released tomorrow. Trawling boats are back out in the chilly winter waters near the TWA crash site. Investigators still looking for pieces of the center fuel tank and a chunk of the fuselage in front of the tank. They know that the plane's center fuel tank blew up, but they still do not know why. The search continues tonight for this missing 12-year-old New Jersey girl, Selena Jeanette Mays, who is pregnant. Police say she was last seen at home with her family on December 16th. She was due to give birth about a week ago.
CBS has obtained photos taken by a freelance photographer that shows O.J. Simpson wearing Bruno Magli's shoes. The pictures were taken months before the murders of Nicole Simpson and Ron Goldman. An FBI expert says the bloody footprints left at the murder scene were from that type of shoe. But in an earlier deposition, Simpson said a photo of him wearing the shoes was a fake. He has yet to comment on the 30 similar pictures that were introduced by the plaintiffs in the civil trial today. Students and teachers at a Colorado elementary Elementary School paused for a moment of silence today for Jean-Benet Ramsey. The 6-year-old girl was found murdered in her home the day after Christmas. Police completed their search of the Ramseys' home over the weekend, but have yet to interview the girl's parents in the investigation.
Well, with a new wave of strikes underway, unions may be on a collision course with the South Korean government. That tops news around the world. For the first time, white-collar union members joined some 200,000 workers in demanding the resignation of Korean President Kim Jong-sam. The demonstrators are protesting a controversial new labor law there. A sailor clung to the hull of his upturned yacht for nearly 24 hours before he could get hold of a life raft that had been dropped to him by a plane. The 29-year-old man was competing in a round-the-world race when his boat capsized in rough seas off Australia.
Wow. And there is another attempt to break a world record tonight by the head of a Connecticut-based company.
That's right. His latest flight of fancy is no easy feat. We'll tell you all about it.
And a trial is underway for a controversial doctor who some say is a lifesaver.
And a good Samaritan comes to the aid of a Connecticut woman.
Live Doppler 3. Only one Connecticut station has live Doppler radar on Channel 3's New England Weather Service, Connecticut's most accurate forecast.